you want to never run into a situation that you already haven't handled in practice, right? In role playing and all those things like that. So I think 100%, I don't care if it's my program, your program, somebody else's program, you have to get sales training if you're a contractor. It's not enough to show up and just, spit out all your knowledge. Nobody gives a shit about that. They want to be heard. They want to be understood. You got to dig into their motive. What's really important to them. And that is a skill that fortunately can be learned.
Welcome, home service contractors, blue collar entrepreneurs. I'm with a special guest and friend, Tom. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Lee, how you doing, man?
This guy has absolutely blown up on the internet. You are my role model with your content. You are doing such good work. No, he has absolutely changed the game for contractors, and we have a huge collaboration. What's the big saying that contractors really, what you tell contractors?
What I tell them? Stop stealing from your family, man.
I'm telling you, that just resonates. That hits home.
Yeah.
How are they stealing from their own family?
Oh, dude. I mean, come on. You know what it's like when you undercharge. Let's just start with the money, right?
Right.
You don't know your value. You don't know your numbers. And the net result of that is you go out, you do a $20, $30, $50, $100,000 job. And what are you left with at the end of that thing, right? Not what you thought you were going to be left with, because you're stealing the money right out of your own pocket. So that's first and foremost. And then the second is our time. We spend a lot of time dicking around with people that are never going to be our customer. We spend a lot of time on tasks and activities that are not moving the ball forward. So that jacks us up. And then I think the third big way that I've seen it, and I've experienced all of these, by the way, is, we steal those good memories from our life and the people we want to hang out with. And I mean, shit, how many guys do you know, outside of the family stuff, but because they're a slave to their business, they gave up their hobby, right? They haven't picked up their guitar in years. They stopped working out. Now they're a fat ass. They got a bunch of bad habits going on. So we steal from ourselves and our families all the time if we're not intentional about fixing that shit. So, and I just want to say, I'm in a hotel right now. So if there's an echo, if you hear a vacuum cleaner running, they were just cleaning the foyer here a minute. My daughter's in our room doing her online school, so I got kicked out. So that's why I'm not at my normal fight set here, man. I'm out in LA right now. So.
Well, your fight set's awesome, and I love the Contractor Fight. If you don't follow the Contractor Fight on Instagram, on YouTube, you need to, because what Tom does is he delivers it straight from the hip. No holds bars, doesn't pull punches, and it's the real mental toughness thing that gets in these guys' way. I'm going to tell you, they focus on grunt work. They're so worried about solving the problems in their business, making the money. It's almost like a rat race that they don't see, and I've coached so many. I know what happens. Instead of focusing on growth, they focus on what they got to do to feed their families, and at the same time, by not doing what they need to do, like you said, they're not getting the marketing campaigns to make the leads. They're not hiring the people to make the time. They're not implementing the system so that there's a process, and they're just not winging it. And they are smart. They do know how to sell. They don't maybe all contractors, it's just not right, have a stigma. Growing up, I was kind of ashamed because my dad was a roofer, and I wanted to be some like doctor or a lawyer or something. I mean, when did you become a contractor? I want to hear a little bit more about your background.
Yeah, well, listen, I spent my whole life trying not to be in the trades.
Right.
My dad was a tile guy. He was always, and what I'm about to say, I want to set the tone here because I know you feel the same way. I love my family. I love the people I'm going to share about here in a minute. But I was not inspired because of what I was seeing, as far as a career goes. My dad was a tile guy. He was dirty. He was tired. I don't think he ever made more than 40 grand a year, and I had relatives that were builders and this and that. I got an uncle who's a painting contractor, actually has his shit together, and I worked for him. And then, ended up, I think I became, dude, well, let me tell you this. I thought I was going to actually be an NFL player and till I realized that I wasn't that good at football. So, So, I was average at best, but that was my thing. I wanted to be a football player, and then I didn't get any offers, and oh my crap here, my grades weren't good enough to get into most schools. I was a terrible student. I didn't know what it took to reach different levels of success, and so yeah, I ran from the trades because I didn't see anybody just crushing it. And so it wasn't until I got out of the Marine Corps. I did 4 years in the Marine Corps. I got out in 1992. Were you even born then, man? How old are you?
Yeah, I was born in 1992. I was born in 1985. 1985.
All right, 85.
35.
So I graduated high school 87. And so got out of the Corps in 92, and I went right back to work for my uncle. And then I think it was around 2001. I was selling tools like Pasload nailers and fasteners and guns and to carpenters. I was just cold calling guys all the time. And as I'm driving around, I'm like, this is outside of Chicago. I'm like, man, there's a lot of opportunity here. And I just woke up one day and decided I was going to start a painting business. Didn't know shit, and grew it pretty quickly in the first 3 years. From I didn't have a website. I didn't have a truck wrap. I didn't know anything about marketing. Dude, I grew up not believing that I was smart enough to start a business. Like, I thought you had to be like really smart and go to school, and I was a terrible student. I think I got a 15 on the ACT, and I mean, it was, I just folded, man. As Gary Vee says, he punted school. He was just like, I'm going to punt, right? I punted school because at the root of things, I just didn't believe I was smart. And so, so that was, I guess, what I say, 2001. And then we were doing, after a few years, I was doing 300 to 400 projects a year, residential painting, and had a great partnership with a guy. And I ended up selling my half of the company to him in 2012 because I felt that I had a bigger calling in the sense of impact. And what I've realized is that, because right around that time, 2010, I started doing a lot of personal development. I started working on me, and I realized that, and by the way, I still thought I was stupid at this time. But I knew there was something bigger for me to have an impact in the world. And so I'm like, I'm going to make a break from this, not because we didn't have a good company, not because I didn't have a great partnership, but I just felt something inside of me was calling me to have a bigger impact. And so I started the Contractor Fight. And it wasn't called the Contractor Fight then, but I literally just went out and I started working with businesses. In fact, here, let's go back. I said I spent my whole life trying to get away from contracting. When I started coaching, I opened it up to all businesses because I didn't want to work with contractors. That's how fucking crazy my head was. And after about, I'm coaching these personal trainers and I'm coaching chiropractors and all these companies. I'm like, man, we got to sell like 5 million personal training sessions for this cat to make any money and for me to have an impact, right? And long story short, a guy tapped me on the shoulder. He was a contractor in my area. He's like, hey, I hear you coach. You ready for this? I sold my first monthly coaching package with weekly phone calls for $350 a month.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how jacked up my mindset was about what I was offering. And at the end of a year of working with him, he put another 90 grand in his pocket.
Wow.
And I'm like, wait a minute. I made like 3-4 grand, whatever the math is there. Right. And he made 90. Something's fucked up here. And so I started getting some mentoring. I started getting some coaching. I started working on me even more. I had a real pivotal point at a trip down to Cabo where I finally was able to come to face with, the fact that I'm not stupid. I have a lot to offer. And dude, since then, that was probably 2013. It was just a year or so later, year and a half, 13, 14. It's just exploded from there because I worked on me, man. I owned my crap. My crap was I was insecure about who I was.
Let me tell you guys, if you don't
yeah.
know what Tom's been able to do, he has 36,000 subscribers or so on YouTube. He's been chosen to be on a reality TV show. He's out in California filming for this A&E. You can catch him on the A&E channel.
It's HGTV, man.
Oh, HGTV.
So,
I apologize. That was off.
Which that means I'm actually allowed one curse word per episode, which if you know me, that's really tough. So I don't know how much of what I say is actually going to see the light of day because of that. So,
well, what are you doing on the show? Tell us about the show. Tell us what you're doing on the show.
Yeah, so we're still filming the first season. It's going to release. It's going to air sometime in 2021. I don't know when yet. There are certain things I can share and not share, which is why I'll be vague here. But it's basically I'm the host of a show to help people with projects, and I am in the coach role.
Okay.
I'm the host, but I'm a coach, and I have a GC and a designer as my co-hosts.
Oh, nice.
And so we're going in and working with these families and through some of their own issues and head trash and things like that. So it's funny, when I announced we were doing it, man, my community was like, oh man, they better get their bleep button ready. And Tom's going to be he's going to be choking people out on the show and this and that. But I think people are going to be surprised to see a different side of me. I'm actually somewhat of a teddy bear. And, but you and I talked about earlier this, like we got to go to people where they're at. Right. Yeah. And, and my biggest thing is, if you're going to own your crap, then I don't need to get tough on you. Own your shit and let's move forward together. It's when you're not owning your shit, that's when I call you out, man. Because we bullshit ourselves too much. So I'm excited to see what happens with it. It's been a great experience. I tell you what, I got the A team of crews. I got an amazing showrunner. That's the guy directing the thing on the ground there. Our crew has done. What's that show with The Rock?
Yeah.
Ballers. They did that. Yeah. No. The game show thing he had recently.
I don't know. I don't watch that.
I mean, we got guys that work on The Apprentice, The Voice. I mean, if there's a popular reality show or show on a major network,
that brings
chances are my crew has been on it.
That brings me to a good point. Grant Cardone is how I got started in personal development and creating my online profile. Basically, I decided one day I was going to sell him a roof. At that time, he was on a show called Turnaround King that got canceled off of TV, and his big idea was, to help people and coach people. And I was one of those guys who read his books about sales and training, and I saw that he owned commercial properties. I had this idea to sell him a roof to recruit his audience into my niche, which is I chase hurricanes and hailstorms. When money falls from the sky, there's problems that need to be solved, and I've been a part of this community of contractors that is a disaster response community, and there's billions of dollars, as a matter of fact, $100 billion in this insurance restoration industry. And I introduced Grant to that opportunity. He actually got insurance to pay for 53 different roofs. Through my help, I did the roofs, and I had to spend a lot of money on coaching. Part of that investment was getting on his TV network, which made me to start creating content. And the irony is, he's on the show Undercover Billionaire. And on this show, you start at zero. You lose your fortune, you lose your name, you lose everything, and you start from scratch. So I have a cool game that I want to play with you. If I was to go back to the old Tom and I was to start your painting company, or I have an idea of what I would do to start your business. It would involve door knocking. It would involve Facebook ads. It would involve a lot of things of making the leads come in, making the sales guys come in. But we have a couple different ways of going about scaling our business. And so my question is, starting from zero, you lose your name, you lose everything, you go and you build a painting business from scratch. Okay, you're on Undercover Billionaire, but we're the blue collar version. Me and you are on that show. All right, we got to build $1 million book of business in 90 days. What do you do?
Is it today?
Yeah, it starts today. You go on the show.
2021. We're in 2021. I just want to. Okay.
2021.
Right here.
There you go.
If you can't see it, I'm holding up my phone. Dude, I'm creating content. I am being the educator. I'm answering every question that anyone could ever have about painting. And I am ecstatic because it's free, right? This is free. Like if I got $100 in my pocket, I ain't going to do shit with that. I'm not building a website with that. And that takes too long. I'm going social media. I'm going to own YouTube. I'm going to own Facebook. I'm going to own Instagram. I'm going to own, the new Clubhouse thing, which we were just talking about earlier, which I did my first thing there yesterday, had 4 people on it. And
you got to wait for us. Me and Tom are going to be on Clubhouse more often. You got to follow us.
We're going to dominate that shit. But guys, it's about setting yourself up as the expert. People hire the fucking expert. They pay more money for the expert. It's easier to recruit, subs or employees when you're the expert. It's easier to build high-level influencer relationships. I did, at least $500,000 a year just because of my influencer network way back in the early 2000s, just by knowing a few home inspectors and knowing some carpet guys and this and that. So it's those relationships. And I want to give a tip here. That I just shared with one of my coaching groups yesterday. If, as a contractor, most guys want to build their local area. And a lot of guys through the years have went out and they've started a podcast, right? And they're starting a podcast, they're starting a YouTube channel. And those are great. And I think you should do those. But the problem, one of the issues with those is they're like nationwide, right? Mm-hmm. And so I want people in my area listening to me. And that's where I think this Clubhouse thing, and guys, I got like 20 people that follow me. I think I follow more than follow me right now on Clubhouse. I am so fucking new to that thing. But I'm sitting there yesterday and I'm like, man, if I were in Miami, right? And I was a painter, I was a roofer, I was a remodeler, whatever it was, I don't care what it is. I'm starting a weekly show on Clubhouse and it's going to be called the Miami Business Builders Group.
Nice.
And dude, I'm going to bring people, that's guests, they call you, bring them on stage with you.
Right.
I'm going to bring people on stage in the Miami community that are other successful business owners. They don't have to be contractors. Now I'm the expert, right? I'm the expert. And say Lee, you owe Lee's hot dog stand. You've been visiting us for 33 years, right? And you got a line out the door. I want that dude on the panel. I want him on the stage and have a discussion. I want him to tell his story. And now I don't even have to create the content. I don't have to share anything about being an expert remodeler or whatever the hell I am. But in turn, I got all these eyeballs because what business people in Miami don't want to be featured, don't want to be interviewed, don't want to share their story. So I'm becoming that talk radio host in a sense. So that's my that's what I would do right now. It would be content. It would be shaking hands, building relationships. I know you're big into that whole door knocking thing. I used to, here's the line I always used to use when I had zero money to ever market. I'd see your truck driving down the road, roofing company or remodeler. I would pick my phone up while I was driving, my flip phone at the time, and I would go, hey, are you the guy driving down such and such road right now? And in most cases it was, right? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, listen, I noticed that you build stuff. I happen to paint stuff. I think we should know each other. And that was my pitch. That was it. And that built so many relationships, and then from there, Lee, I just give. I'm a giver. You and I we were talking earlier. I work so hard to give value before I ever ask for anything in return. So if I had 90 days to build a business fast, that's what I would do. Right out of the gate.
And that's why I've invited you to speak at my Blue Collar American Dream Conference with Ed Milet, Randy Couture, Myron Golden, Brad Lee, and Tom is going to be teaching you how to build a personal brand, how to use these modern social media tools to attract business, to create a strategic response network. It's a different approach than just going door to door. Look, a lot of people don't like to cold call. I grew up knocking on doors because storm restoration, we sell roofs paid for by the insurance company. It's a pretty good offer. It's a little different than saying, hey, do you want to paint your house? Okay. Yeah. But the truth is that when you're painting someone's house, the best time is to knock on a door when you're doing a job. So kind of a complimentary a message to what my message is. And this is my book. You can get it at contractinggrowsecrets.com, but it's called The Digital Door Knocker's Guide. Every contractor needs to scale their profits, team, and impact. And what you're talking about is digital door knocking, in a sense, is making videos, putting them on YouTube, tagging them on Google. And let me explain to you how I do this in a complimentary fashion. Facebook allows me to pick an area that I want to sell jobs to. And, I target the area geographically with video that's educational. And you don't even have to do salesy video. You can do, the best thing, we have 3 different videos. One, I think the best one, if I'm going to pick one, is when I'm doing a build. If I get a project, like let's just say I knock on a door and I say, hey, I've got an offer. Whenever I was a kid, I'll be honest with you, I started a lawn business and I offered the first 5 lawn people that picked me on at free lawn. And then after I was done, I found out everybody tipped me anyways. So I might knock on some doors and say, hey, look, I'll paint something for free for you to build the relationship and show how much I can help you. I might paint something. I might hang around for a tip. But the bottom line is I would say, look, here's what I'm going to get in return. I'm going to get a testimonial about my quality work. I'm going to make a video of me doing the job in the project. And I would use my same iPhone. I would hold the iPhones and I would say, hey, look, my name's Lee Haight. Don't overpay for paint. The consequences of not having your house up to date means you couldn't sell your home. It may lead to cracks and damages to your siding. Who doesn't want to have a better looking house that could sell for a higher value? Looking at busted paint. Look, while I'm in the neighborhood, I got a special deal. A free painter for a day. I'm here right now. I did a little job for her. It's a free painter for a day. I'm building my name in the neighborhood. Because I'm here right now, click the link below. I'll give you, now it's a small project. It's not a big project. You'll use it as a chance to see if I'm a good guy. But if you click the link below, I'll give you a free painter for the day deal. I'll come out there. I'll take a look at your house. I would geographically target the area. I would show my work. And then I'd get a testimonial from the client. And with Facebook, you don't even need to make a funnel. You can just do a lead form.
Right.
And so that for contractors is the easiest way to make it rain like a hurricane. Leads. You would retarget the people who consume your video with an even stronger offer. And then, since I was in the neighborhood and I had video testimonial and I was advertising to people, I would then go knocking on the door. Hey, what's going on? Lee here. I'm sure you saw me on Facebook. I'm the neighborhood painter. We're taking care of everybody here with a free checkup on anything that you may need sealed, but because we're in the neighborhood. Look, we want to be your contractor for life, long term. If you need a painter now, you need a painter later. We got a special while we're in the neighborhood, free painter for a day. Anyways, the whole point is that with the digital, it sets up the door knock. And when you're doing a project, the best way to extend word of mouth referral is to build a canvassing team. And if you don't want to cold call, as the owner, you don't have to. You can build a canvassing team. And so for the guys in the contractor fight that want to know is door-to-door relative to a small ticket offer, to HVAC, to electrician, to a painter, to a garage door guy, I have to say yes, because Tommy Mello recently did a podcast explaining about how his canvassing division was implemented and how he was able to generate leads for cheaper than he could generate through Google pay-per-click. He's got these systems where he's tracking his cost really well. And it just goes to show that the old belly-to-belly approach combined with the technology, is a great way to do it. And that's why Tom's message fits so good into what we're doing. We're going to be doing some massive collaborations. And if you're watching this, I've helped roofers, but I helped all contractors. And my mission is to help all blue-collar entrepreneurs, all home service contractors. And I want to teach them how to use video to sell, how to build a sales team, how to scale their business. But the truth is that Tom has been doing this a really long time. So, Tom, when you first started coaching contractors, as a coach, what the frustrating thing is I want to get everyone 100% satisfied, because in contracting, if the job doesn't go right, I can fix it. I can go back there and I can do my part. And even if the customer is a bad customer and they're trying to get over on me, I know that I did a good job because I did it. Now with coaching, if the guy doesn't do his part, if he doesn't show up to you can't do anything about it. And out of people that buy coaching, 40% of the people don't take the information seriously, don't read the book, don't watch the videos, don't show up to the calls. And then, so tell me about how you've been able, the one thing that holds contractors back and what you've been able to do as a coach to get people results.
Yeah, well, it's funny you bring up they don't do the work. Just yesterday I was talking to another consultant in a different industry who understands the online training world really well. And she said that only about 10% of people that buy an online training coaching course finish it. I mean, think about that for a second. You had enough pain at 11 p.m. at night when you were stressed about your business to swipe your credit card, to join a coaching program, to get help, and yet you don't fucking go do the work, right? You don't watch the videos that are guys like you and I are putting together from life experience, from being kicked in the dick so many times, right? And avoiding mistakes and things like that. And so the way we head that off, and at least in my community, is I wanted people when they came into, we have a free Facebook group called the Contractor Fight. It's got just under 5,000 people in it. We've given the axe, meaning we've removed over 10,000 people to date in the last year and a half, about 2 years. And what you have to do within 24 hours of joining our group is you have to do this thing where you have to do an own your crap post. And because I want people to come, I don't want to be just like some other Facebook group where everybody comes in and, gives shitty advice to each other and brags about this. And I didn't want it to be a group that was all about, hey guys, what do you think of my cut line here as a painter or whatever? Nobody gives a shit about that. Okay. Like, of course we expect you to do good work as a contractor, but I want you to grow as a business owner. And so they own your crap posts. You have to post something within 24 hours of a character trait or flaw in you that's holding you back from success. And if you don't do that, we give you the axe. So right out of the gate, we're asking them to take some action. And then we spend our approach in our whole coaching, when I speak, everything is 90% of what comes out of our mouth is designed to fix you between the 6 inches upstairs here, between your head, because that's where most of our issues are. And then we have daily challenges because it's about implementation. People don't have a knowledge problem. I mean, right now, if you're listening to this and an area of your business isn't where you want it to be, I guarantee you know at least 10 things that you need to do. Are you fucking doing them?
That's right.
Right? It's that simple. We talked yesterday, you and I on the phone. I'm like, it's like you join a gym, which everyone did right now in some capacity. They've made a fitness goal, whether it's downloading an app or whatever here in 2021. And if you don't use it, if you don't do what the trainer says, if you don't count your calories, if you don't, track your water, and measure things and actually check the boxes each and every day, you're not going to get the success you want. So we have great content, great teaching. I think we do a good job. One of our values in my company is simplify. Like, we want everything really simple. You got enough shit in your life that's complicated. We want to keep things simple for people. But I think what we do really well is we address your mindset in every call, everything that we ever do. And then we hold your feet to the fire. I'll often go into my, like our paid programs and stuff, and I'll be like, hey, this guy hasn't been on a call for 2 weeks. And I'll DM him. One of my coaches will DM him, and I'll be like, Lee, where you been? What's going on? How's your business? Like, checking in, man. It does me no good to have people in the group, just like your programs. It does you no good for them to join and not get the results they joined for.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Dude, I got to give you props, because hopefully people heard this when you were sharing earlier about your digital door knocking and all that other stuff. What I appreciate about what you have going on is you talk a lot about getting the tool belt off, right? Mm-hmm. So many guys go, I want to grow my business, but they're focused on the wrong things. And the reason you've had the success you've had is you have focused on what I call putting points on the board. Mm-hmm. Like, there's not a day that goes by, I guarantee you, that Lee Haight doesn't go, hey, what's the score today?
That's right.
Right? Like, and that's where so many guys go wrong, and they never get over those humps in their business. Is they'll sell a bunch of work, they get into production mode, they get through it, they're near the end of it, and they pop their head up out of the hole and they go, shit, I don't have any work on the horizon.
Right.
Now that's that feast and famine cycle. Right. And so, I always share that when you opened a contracting business, you now took that role of a craftsman. And I know guys take a lot of pride in that shit, and I'm all for that. But when you start your business, your role is
blue-collar entrepreneur. You're a blue-collar entrepreneur.
Bingo. Like that goes down the list of priorities of how you spend your time, is doing shit in the field. Because if you don't have oxygen, if you don't have sales, if you don't have leads, if you don't have leads, you don't have sales, right?
Right.
So it's that simple. That's why guys can't grow. And it's a lot easier to build a team because that's a big issue in the trades right now. It's a lot easier to build a team when you have a shit ton of work on the board.
That's exactly right. And that's what my gift is. I help people build teams and make it rain leads like a hurricane. You know, the sales training, everyone's got a different flavor, and I love Tom's style, but we basically go door to door and help you build door-to-door sales teams. It's very complimentary. And one thing, if I was to come into your group right now and I was to say, here's my biggest weakness and what's holding me back from growth, because, you know, it's great to hear all these good things. Here's the deal. I have a hard time asking for help, just like all the rest of the contractors. When it comes down to it, I want to grow my YouTube. So, hey, if you're watching this and you enjoy this, go over to Lee Haight, subscribe, get notifications. We've got some awesome content. But the main thing is I want to do more collaborations with guys that are like you. That actually, I had tons of contractors. If you bought this book and you want coaching and you're a home service contractor that's not a roofer, I'm going to be working with Tom in a joint venture so that we can, you know, bring you the coaching that you need to go from 6 figures to 7 figures, or from not having a team to having a team. Or maybe you're in one of these trades you didn't know if my training was going to be good enough for. Tom and I are going to work together. We're going to come together and come up with a great solution. But the most important thing is that, you know, I have a hard time asking for help from other influencers, and you've got 30,000 subscribers on YouTube. I just went focused on YouTube this last year, and my bottom line is that I really am excited to add to your community as a guy that talks about door-to-door, as a guy who talks about Facebook ads and using big data and artificial intelligence to your advantage. And if you don't know me, like, I started selling roofs, and I had to coach my entire life as a second-generation roofer. My dad was successful. I had to develop a work ethic. I failed out of college. I'm a little unorganized, a bit of a renegade. I took the saying, work hard, play hard, a little too hard on the playing. And so, you know, I've been $1 million in debt, but I've had good coaches my whole life, and I've always focused on the sales. I've always focused on the points, on the scoreboard. And, you know, my entire life, 15 years it's took to get to this point. I don't say this to brag, but we built $60 million in roofs last year. We have 200 employees, and I'm coaching people. So the fact that we're living it as an example is really important to me. And at the Blue Collar American Dream Conference, the reason why I've invited you is because I see that you scaled a contracting business. You were a brick and mortar guy. You didn't desire to build this, you know, tell me about the first time you started creating video content. Was it nerve-wracking for you? Were you overthinking it? A lot of people, especially guys from different generations, say, hey, I don't want to be braggadocious. I don't want to be one of these guys that's out here beating my chest making video content. Well, did you deal with any of that?
Yeah, I remember when I started doing I started with my podcast. And I was terrified. Like, if you go back, we left it up. I wanted to take it down, and then, you know, my coaches and mentors are like, dude, leave that shit up. It shows your journey. It shows that you were really bad in the beginning. And so, you know, my first go at podcasting was tough. But I was consistent. That's the key here. I was consistent. I started a YouTube channel in like 2014, and I didn't do shit with it till the end of 2016. It took me probably that long to get 100 subscribers. It was something crazy. And then I just said, I'm going to turn this camera on. I'm going to figure it out. I mean, I had shitty backgrounds. I had bad lighting. I had bad sound. But again, I just kept showing up, and I'm like, if I could just share something that will help somebody today be a little bit better in their business. And sometimes that's sharing your story. Sometimes that's sharing how, you know, I went bankrupt. Sometimes it's sharing how, you know, I had a job that I did in one of my first year of business that I sold for 28 grand, a paint job. I thought I was going to be richly. I'm like, man, this is amazing. It cost me $45,000 to do the job. I should have charged $90,000 to $100,000 to do the paint job. That was my biggest education of all the things not to do. And so I share the story. And so I think that's what people are really looking for, is just be you. Mm-hmm. Don't try to be me. Don't try to be Grant. Don't try to be Ed Milet. Be you, Steve, Dan, Todd, Mary, whoever you are. Mm-hmm. Because that's when the passion is going to come out. Mm-hmm. And so I would say that I would, you know, for guys that are nervous about picking up the camera and doing a social media post, you know, I'm thinking of one of my guys, who I've worked with for years. His name's Alan Decker. He's one of the best water feature builders on the planet. He's got a crazy profitable business. In 2020, I think he did $400,000 in revenue just because he would pull this out on a job site and he would go, hey, it's Alan, I'm out here, blah, 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 New York. And I'm super excited about this pond that we're building. Let me show you guys. He'd flip it around and you'd see this hole in the ground right on day one. He goes, today we're going to get the liner in, but there's going to be a waterfall here. And he just kind of points like this. Super simple, okay? But he's consistent. And he's got, you call the storm industry, you got money raining, right? I don't know what he's calling it, but it's similar to that where just, but here's the other thing is, he sold, I don't know, $100,000 job in 2019 from somebody who lived in California. He's in New York. They're like, yeah, I'm friends with so-and-so who lives in New York and I'm moving there. And I said I wanted to redo my backyard. They shot me a link to your Facebook page and I've been watching your live videos for the last 10 months. Okay. So like every time he goes live, she opens it up. Well, then it's when she finally moves there, she was like his first phone call or he was her first phone call.
Well,
there was no editing. There was no editing. It was just Alan being Alan, sharing what the hell he's doing on my job.
See, I work with a lot of guys running Facebook ads, and they're like, how complicated do I make the video? Do I need a video crew? And Facebook Live from your page is probably the easiest way for you to do this because you get a title, you explain your build, you go in and you give details just like Tom gave you. And then when you're done, you can go into Facebook Ads Manager and you can promote it in the area and you can, connect it to a lead form. You can connect it to a click funnel and you can collect the leads. And, it's like, I wonder how much of the paid advertisement he was using with the live, because even if he added that to it, it's going to be even more.
He did not start any paid ads on Facebook until November of 2020 when he had already done over 300,000 in sales just organically. And I was going to ask you because these are things I have to learn.
Live is the best way, the platform, Facebook will send your message out. You're going to get more bang for your buck organically. So like if I were you, if I started at zero and I made a Facebook Live, I would go find all the groups that the neighbors were in, and I would drop my Facebook Live because I had no money to advertise into all those groups, and I would make sure I had a hook, a story, and an offer. I wouldn't just say, let me give you a free estimate on my pool. I would say, hey, while I'm in the area, 40% off all waterfalls. That's typically a $5,000 discount. While I'm in the area, 40% off all waterfalls. Here, this is what a waterfall looks like. This is what a new pool looks like. This is Mrs. Smith. I'm in the area. And essentially, basically we can put gasoline on a fire because he already is getting organic growth when he puts a circle around it and he geo-targets a neighborhood, and then maybe those people don't buy. But the reason why I'm always following up in your news feed is that I want to keep following up on people that engage with my content. And I just want to be top of mind if I can afford to be top of mind. And so the thing about the thing about paid advertisement is once you get one job through free, and then you can figure out a way to where you can get a pool project. If let's say it cost you $1,000, maybe it costs $400 a lead, and you got to get 4 leads before you close the deal, so it costs you $1,200 to get a pool sold on Facebook. Here's the thing. You don't just sell the pool and make the profit. I mean, if the pool's 50 grand and you make 10 grand and you spent 1,200 to make 10 grand, it's obviously a good deal. But the neighborhood sees your ad, and you develop data to retarget. And so what that does is it brands while it creates money. And it's the best way to spend your money as a blue collar entrepreneur. That's what I call digital door knocking. And that's why we're collaborating, Tom, because we have massive value to add each other's audiences. And
dude, what I love about this digital door knocking thing that I'm a between the lines guy. Like I'm listening and I want to point some things out to people listening to this or watching this. You are dominating a neighborhood. Like that's the thing. You are going sniper rifle. And so many contractors are just trying to be all things to everybody, every neighborhood, this and that. And I'm like, I imagine that you would probably, if you had to start over, right? Like we were talking that scenario, my guess, or maybe just share with me, do you identify like a subdivision? Do you identify a zip code? How do you dial that in?
Great question. Okay, great question. I would go on Zillow. I would look, if I were you, like I know like in Boston, 2-story old historic homes, they spend more money on paint. They spend a lot of money on paint. So I would like notice on Zillow that Brookline in Massachusetts had a lot of 2-story, nice, rich people. Look, rich people are easier to sell because they care about protecting value. They care about growth, protecting their assets. It's just harder to sell smaller projects to people that don't have the money. So I would focus on the people that had the most money. And then I would go door to door. And it starts with getting people's attention. And I literally would bang on the doorstep. When it comes to door to door, it's about energy, and it's about, first of all, my 5 eyes of the blue collar clothes interrupt. So, hey, what's going on? I'm taking care of your neighbor's paint job while I'm in the neighborhood. We actually are offering 3 coats of paint for the same price as 2. If you don't need a paint job today, I want to give you a quote that's 40% off that you can hold for later on because I'm in the neighborhood. Let me give you a bid. Look, I would get somebody to let me get a bid, and I would close somebody on that paint job. But, you know, finding an area and targeting it means we're going to work the 6-pack. When we get a build, we want to talk to the house across the street, the 3 next door. See, when insurance company pays for everybody roofs, we end up getting whole streets. Oh, you know, we can get the insurance company to pay for the roof, and it's just like job after job after job. And that happens in painting too. The thing is that it's really a combination of, you know, targeting the neighborhood with Facebook, using a door-to-door team to knock on the doors. And then strategically, there's these apps where we drop pins on home and get real-time data of the roofs that are left behind or the people that have bad paint. Because you can't knock on everybody's door. You really only want to knock on the people's door who have shitty paint jobs. And so how do you strategically only advertise to those people? Well, you have to put your eyes on the property. So you drive into Brookline. As you're driving down the streets, you drop pins on the old paint jobs. You send them a direct mail that says, hey, I'm the painter in the neighborhood. I drove past your house. I know you need a paint job. While I'm in the area, I got 40% off paint jobs. They're like, what? This guy's working in my neighborhood. He drove by my house. He noticed there was damage. So now they're seeing us on Facebook. We got a canvassing team. We're strategically hitting the direct mail. And that's what I call my blue collar marketing method. And even if I'm going to send video to a whole city, let's say I have a generic video, like I have a campaign for roofing. It's like I call it the Geico pitch. It's stop, don't overpay for your roof. 15% price value guaranteed. My name's Lee Haight. We're in your area offering free and roof inspections. And if you're watching this video, since we're in the area, we'll give you a 15% price value guarantee. Mrs. Smith had no idea there was damage. We got blah, blah, blah. Tell a story, make an offer. And this whole concept, it creates people that are interested, and then you retarget them with better video, build videos, testimonial videos, videos explaining different parts, more of the educational stuff that you would update to YouTube, and you throw in your offer. So look, if you like what you're seeing and you want a legitimate contractor, then go ahead and click the link below and schedule your inspection. Let me tell you a little bit more about this clear coat, and you just keep talking. And I learned a lot of this from, it's called intent-based branding. Frank Kern uses it. And you can even use the same thing, going Facebook Live a lot, boosting your Facebook Lives. Just yesterday I did a Facebook Live, and I made offers to sell tickets and sold 16 tickets. And basically, I hadn't even promoted that post, but I was giving information, making a call to action. And the consequence of that is people think I'm very salesy, and people think that you are more focused only on adding value. And, you know, there is a happy medium. You always have to fight for your right to make an offer. People are not going to pay attention to you if you don't tell stories, if you don't demonstrate that you can help them. And if you're a contractor, watching this and you think I can help you make it rain leads through Facebook, regardless of what kind of contractor you are right. I spent $3 million of my own dollars, and I've spent a lot of money for other contractors testing my theories. And I'm going to here to tell you, you don't need a sales funnel. You don't need complicated targeting. You don't need a marketer. All you need is to know how to tell your story so people listen. All you need to know is how to digitally door knock. You can collect the leads off of lead forms, and you can strategically only target small areas. And by doing that, dude, you can make it rain leads simply by using your iPhone like the true weapon it is. And that's why there's so much collaboration. Tom is a genius at organic growth at YouTube. YouTube's actually the major leagues of social media. If I'm an influencer and I have thousands of followers on Instagram, thousands of followers on Facebook, it's not the same as the Contractor Fight having 36,000 subscribers on YouTube. The YouTube subscribers, they rank for search engines. So if you're making content and you're the authority about painting and you're making videos about painting, then when people go to Google, instead of getting a free estimate, now they're watching videos about you. And let me tell you, when you have demonstrated that you can help someone in video, a homeowner, it's so much easier to close them. The Facebook leads or the video leads, the Facebook Live leads from your pool guy, what do you think his closing ratio is on someone who watches his Facebook Live and says they want to bid?
It's through the roof.
It's through the roof. You've demonstrated value. You've already.
Here's the thing, and you hit on this value thing. One of the biggest struggles as a contractor I found way back in the day, and I know a lot of guys struggle with this. How do you prove to the homeowner that we're better before they hire you? Right? They look at two prices, and this one's 20 grand, this one's 10 grand. Right. And we see that all the time because, whatever. All right. And I remember always thinking like, God, I wish there was a way that I could show that we're really kick ass before they hire us. And that's what this content is. That's what this device that we carry around allows us to do. That's why you have a YouTube channel. That's why you do these Facebook Lives, because you're peeling back, you're pulling aside the curtain to show them who's working in your office. Walk around and go, hey, when you guys call ABC Roofing or whatever, a lot happens, to pull off the number of jobs that we do in here. And I just want to introduce you. Do a 1.5 minute video, walk around and go, hey, this is Scott. He does all the scheduling here. And this is so-and-so and blah, blah, blah. And I just think the more you pull back the curtain, that shows people like you're not just chucking a truck. You're not some unlicensed motherfucker who's out there, playing the game and cheating the system and all this other stuff. You're like the real deal, and you're going to be here for the long run, and that builds trust, and price becomes less relevant to those people.
Absolutely, man. And I cannot wait for your speech, because I know my audience is going to benefit from how you've built a personal brand, how you've gone from painting contractor to huge influencer all across social media platforms with your own reality TV show, helping lots of people get a lot of results. And so I'm really excited
Me too, man.
about what's going to happen. Guys, you can come down. It's at the Fontainebleau in March 11th through 13th. And the Fontainebleau, if you don't know, is an iconic destination. And I say break away to get a breakthrough. And by breakthrough, we're going to teach you how to build a sales team, how to build a door-to-door division, how to use digital door knocking to get leads, on how to build a personal brand, on how to build your YouTube channel, on how to sell. I mean, obviously, the most important training is how to get a yes. How important is sales training, Tom?
Oh, it's everything, man. It's everything. You're helps you stop stealing from your family, right? The money, the time, the memories, all the things we talked about before. That's when live rounds are flying, man. You go to a sales call, you want to never run into a situation that you already haven't handled in practice, right? In role playing and all those things like that. So I think 100%, I don't care if it's my program, your program, somebody else's program, you have to get sales training if you're a contractor. It's not enough to show up and just, spit out all your knowledge. Nobody gives a shit about that. They want to be heard. They want to be understood. You got to dig into their motive. What's really important to them. And that is a skill that fortunately can be learned.
I tell you, the way that it's worked for me is I've took everybody's sales training and I've learned from everybody. Some of the stuff is very similar. Some of the stuff is unique, but look, Tom's style about how he handles bids, the way it might be appropriate for one customer. My style might be appropriate for another customer. You still need to know both tools, and it's something that is really, really important. So Brad is a sales trainer. He teaches virtual sales solutions. Brad Lee, if you don't know him, he's got a podcast, Dropping Bombs. He's an innovative sales guy. He's going to be speaking. Ed Milet, I don't know if you know Ed, fastest growing business person in the history of social media. He's worth $400 million. But the thing is he's a down-to-earth guy about spirituality. I was a part of his coaching group. He helped me add culture and automate recruiting. But he's going to talk to you about how to sell your team the vision, how to go big, how to play the game at the highest level, and how to duplicate yourself. And, you know, we brought Randy Couture, former UFC heavyweight champion, talking about checking your egos at the door, how iron sharpens iron, and how, you know, it's going to be, and with Tom and look, let me tell you, like, I haven't reached out to any of these other contractor coaches. I do it because I really align with Tom's message. I really like what you've created for your community. I know there's a ton of people that I've sold books to that are contractors that want information that's not specific to roofers. The Blue Collar American Dream Conference is for all home service contractors, for builders, for remodelers, for solar guys, for door-to-door guys. We're coming together because the modern day gold rush is the home service industry. You need to know the different, you know, and like a window guy knowing how to sell a roof, or a painter knowing how to sell a roof may be important for them, you know, in the future. They never know. Same goes for a roofer, learning stuff from painters, from home builders. And my vision for this Blue Collar American Dream Conference is a community that we can continue come back year after year, push each other, and collaborate to dominate at the highest level, because technology's made us a commodity. Tell us, as much as it's a gift, how have you seen technology be a curse for guys who don't adapt it?
Well, they get left behind. You know, there's guys like you, right? Contractors like you that are you're skating to where the puck is going, right? And so many guys are stuck in their old ways. We are our own biggest enemy in business, 100%. You know, if we don't own our shit and be forward thinking and all the things that you're modeling for people, man. So if I mean, every now and then, Lee, I'll hear from a guy that's like, yeah, I don't even have a website. I don't need to do that. Or word of mouth is my only marketing that I need. And that's why the dude's been in business for 32 years and he still hasn't broken $500,000 in sales, you know, because he's stuck in his old ways. And so if you are not taking advantage of the technology, I mean, dude, how many guys you know that go, I don't have time to do all this. I don't have time to do all this. Automations and the things that Brad Lee's going to bring to the table and all the things you're going to share about marketing. Dude, it's game-changing shit, man.
Ironically,
is your friend.
Ironically, my coach Grant Cardone's holding a conference at the same time. But if you are a blue collar, a home service guy, there's no reason why you'd want to go hang out with the car salesman. There's no reason why you want to come hang out with the realtors. You need to come hang out with the roughnecks, the guys that like to fix big problems for big paychecks. And look, I don't know exactly what the contractor fight means, but I know that contractors are in a fight for their life. And a lot of times they lie to themselves. They get trapped by the world. Technology makes them a commodity. They're frustrated and they start to run from some of their fights. And what I want this event to be is that people stop running from their fights. They stop running from their life and they start embracing what it's going to take to leave a legacy, to have a great company, to make an impact on the community, to truly build wealth and live your purpose. And at the Blue Collar American Dream Conference, that's what you're going to get. So if you're a fan of me or Tom's, you cannot miss this. March 11th through the 13th at the Fountain Blue. You can get tickets at bluecollarconference.com. If you go to bluecollarconference.com, we've got a special. If you're watching off of YouTube, you're getting a discount. So just go and click the link below here. We'll put it in the comments. Look, find me on YouTube and subscribe. If you're on my channel, you got to go find Contractor Fight. Follow him on YouTube. Follow him on Instagram. Be looking for the reality show. He's the coach, and he's going to be on TV. When's that going to be released?
Sometime in 2021. That's all they're telling me right now, man. So it's coming. But either way, we're going to be ready for it. And then listen, before we get out of here, man, I would just want to say something to somebody listening to this. Guys, get to the event. Okay? Get to the event. Here's why. You never know the one nugget that you're going to pull away. Okay? So whatever it's going to cost you to get your ass down there, get on a plane, drive, whatever it is. I mean, Lee, we've heard story after story where guys spent their last fucking dollar because they knew they needed to be at an event. Okay? So whatever it takes, get there. Carve out the time. Get there for a couple days. It could be a conversation while you're having a beer. It could be the guy you sit next to in the audience. It could be one sentence that one of the speakers says in their mouth that the light bulb goes off for you and it changes your fucking life. It puts a few $1,000,000 in your pocket over the next couple of years because you found a way to get there. There's no fucking excuse. There's going to be some amazing human beings down there. And there's going to be a lot of guys that aren't even on the stage that are fucking winners that people are going to want to have conversations with.
There's also
that's where the magic happens, you guys.
Yeah, there's also going to be a panel of 8-figure contractors that are sharing their success stories, their experience, strengths, and hopes, their struggles dealing with the challenges of 2020 and how we're going to future-proof our businesses. And that's what this is about. The old school, we have to future-proof our businesses. We owe it to our families. Yeah. We owe it to our kids. We owe it to our employees. And the legacy that you leave will be defined by how coachable you are, how willing you are to check your ego at the door for iron to sharpen iron. So join me and Tom March 11th through 13th at the Fountain Blue at the Blue Collar American Dream Conference. We can't wait to see you, and we're going to be doing a lot more collaborations. I'm going to be coming to Colorado. Hopefully, Tom, you'll come out to Florida and let me take you fishing on my boat, dude. We'll go catch some grouper.
There you go, man.
I love it, man. No contractor's dream is better than to be in the mountains and have a business that runs on its own, making money, or be out on the ocean catching fish with the business out there making money. Me and Tom are out here living it for y'all. We've been here for 5 years helping y'all, and we can tell you that the only thing that's stopping you from your American dream is you, and we can guide you. We can help you, man. Tom, how many guys have you been able to help go from, struggling to make 80 grand to actually killing it for their family?
Thousands
of people. Guys, thousands of people between both of us have been impacted, lives changed, and that's what it's about. When I'm gone, I'm not defined by the money I make. I'm not defined by how big my business is. I'm defined by how many people did I help and what are they going to do once I'm gone. Are they going to help other people? Are they going to continue to make the blue collar American dream great again? And so don't get wrapped up. If you're sick of the BS, if you're sick of the nonsense, don't get wrapped up. Look at those guys that got wrapped up and ended up in the Capitol, and now they're going to federal prison. Look, that's what getting distracted, focusing on all the conspiracy stuff does for you. Focus on what you control. Focus on your fitness, focus on your spirituality, on your business, on your mental condition, and put yourself in proximity to successful people that will push the needle for you. Because if you're not pushing the needle for yourself and you know you got to get there, you have the knowledge. Insanity is repeating the same things and expecting different results. If you don't take action, nothing will change. So go to the bluecollarconference.com, reserve your tickets. You got a discounted opportunity. You can upgrade to VIP, have a special dinner and access to me, to Tom, and to Ed, to Brad, to Myron, to Randy Couture. So, man, what an awesome interview, dude. I can't wait to do this again next time.
Dude, yeah, absolutely. I cannot wait to change some lives, man. I mean, that's why we're in this. At the end of the day, this is why we're doing this. When I get those messages, like I remember getting a message from a guy once who actually implemented something, right? When you got to implement, and he took a picture of his daughter who just hit a triple at her softball game, and he was in tears. He sent me a video saying, "If I didn't do the shit that you taught me to do, I would have missed this moment. Thank you."
That's
guys,
what it's
quit
about.
Missing the fucking moments.
Quit missing the moments. That's what it's all about.
Get your ass to Florida.
All right, we'll see you March 11th through 13th, Fountain Blue, Blue Collar American Dream Conference. Go to bluecollarconference.com. Hey, thanks, Tom. I really appreciate you sharing me with your audience. I'm going to send this out to mine, and I'm grateful that we're going to be partners, buddy.
Me too, man. Yeah, I'll get this up here by the end of the week. We'll get it on YouTube and all of that. So.
Okay, man. Well, it's a good talk, and
cool.
Till next time.
Absolutely. Sounds good, man. I'll be in touch.
See you, bro.